Hey everybody, and welcome to the 17th episode of MCUEx, your number one source for MCU news, reviews, and discussion. I'm Addie Hayes, and joining me today is Doug Herring.
Hi, Addie. Hi, everybody. How you doing today?
I'm good. Don't you have something to say to the audience about today's episode?
I do, yes. We're doing things a little bit differently today. Guys, tons of news has dropped in this past week. We're covering 10 different stories on today's show, and that's not even all the news that's dropped. So if you want to be totally current about all the news that has to do with the Marvel Cinematic Universe, make sure you're going to MCUExchange.com every single day. We've got all the latest news. So we've picked out 10 of the coolest stories that dropped in the past week. We're going to talk about those today because so much news has dropped this week, but nothing really has dropped that we wanted to make our main discussion. We're not having a main discussion on today's episode, which is the part in the episode where we take 10 minutes to talk about a single story. We're not doing that this week. Instead, we're just giving a little bit more time to each story, but we're talking about more stories. So, trying something new. Maybe we'll do this more often, maybe not. Maybe it'll be back to normal next week. We'll see what you say about it.
Yeah, let us know what you think in the comments below.
Yeah, so, Addie, let's move on to our first story.
Awesome. So, new Doctor Strange merchandise gives us new looks at the character. The merchandise looks pretty cool. I love the magic in it.
Yeah.
The, circle in front of him kind of looks like a shield, or when he's, it's like a closer up, and it's both of his hands like this, and there's, little circles around it.
Yeah.
That stuff gets me so excited.
What's exciting for me is that the magic in the merchandise looks exactly like it does in the comics. Which at this point in the Marvel Cinematic Universe shouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Because everything looks like it does in the comics. But still, it's exciting. I want that lunchbox. That lunchbox is so cool.
See, I want the drinkware because I love me some drinkware.
I know you do.
Many.
Yeah.
This is little Vulpix from Pokemon. But yeah. Want to move on?
Yeah, I guess so. That was a quick story. But no, it's exciting and I can't wait to see more.
So Madame Gao reportedly to appear in Iron Fist, which this, I think, makes total sense.
Yeah.
She was in both seasons of Daredevil. Not a huge part, but she's even kind of alluded to some Iron Fist stuff in the Daredevil season, especially in season 1.
Not even alluded to so much. She was selling a brand of heroin which had the Steel Serpent symbol, and it was called Steel Serpent, which, as we know, is the villain in Iron Fist. Yeah, she's of course a character that's going to play a big part in Iron Fist. And in Daredevil season 1, when she said she was going back to her home, to Wilson Fisk, and he's like, "Oh, you're going to China?" She says, "No, I'm going a considerable amount farther." So she's clearly got some connection with Iron Fist, so it makes sense. We considered putting a spoiler warning on this story, but it's just such a no-brainer that we figured not to. By the way, keep in mind, this is not confirmed yet. This comes from a fan who is taking pictures of filming an Iron Fist going on right here in New York City, and they said they were 99.9% sure they saw Madame Gao on set, which, makes sense.
Once again, kind of a no-brainer. I love her in Daredevil, though.
Yeah.
She's so sassy and old. I freaking love it.
Her one scene with Matt in season 2, I thought was really
that's
good.
exactly what I'm thinking.
It made me
right
excited
now.
to see her in this.
Yeah.
Should we move on?
I guess so.
We are just motoring through those.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
So, Michael Barbieri, I hope I said that right, joins the cast of Spider-Man Homecoming, which...
I think it's Barbieri, actually.
Darn it, I tried so hard.
I might be wrong, you might be right. The fact that neither of us know how to pronounce his name shows he's kind of an unknown.
I looked up his IMDb, when the news was announced, and I don't really know anything.
Yeah.
He has, 4 credits, which is another great thing that I love about Marvel, that they get these kind of, nobody actors and then, put them up in the Marvel, universe,
right.
And then they blow up. So this little, 15, 14, whatever, however old he is, he's gonna freaking blow up after this.
Yeah, it's exciting. And I know that reportedly he's playing Peter's best friend.
Yeah.
That's cool. We haven't really seen, when you think about Peter's relationships that we've seen in the Spider-Man movies that have come out before, we've really only seen romantic relationships, whether it's Gwen Stacy or Mary Jane, and then his friendship with Harry Osborn.
Yeah.
We've never really seen a friendship for him that doesn't end poorly.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. And he doesn't really have any school friends because none of the Spider-Man movies, none of the Raimi movies, and certainly none of the Mark Webb movies really took place at school.
Yeah, no.
I mean, I think he was still in high school for the first 2 Raimi movies, or just the first one, but it wasn't a main focus, you know?
Yeah, no, absolutely. But of course, this one will obviously be well, not obviously, but we can kind of guess
With
that it will
title,
be because Homecoming,
right.
and with all the, the students that have been cast that are his age, so... I don't know, it's pretty exciting.
Yeah. I mean, just the fact that we get to see some of his relationships at school show us that this is going to be a different type of Spider-Man movie that I'm really excited for.
Yeah, I'm super excited. But all the chemistry is going to be all different with every single character and Peter.
For sure.
It's going to be so cool. All right, so up next, Alan Silvestri is set to score Infinity War, which... You actually brought up in our MCU Q&A last week.
I did. Yeah, I totally called this.
Got it.
I'm taking credit for this.
Yeah. No, the Russo brothers totally saw this. And they were
Joe
and
Anthony Russo watch MCU Q&A, and they saw us take a question last week where we were asked, what musicians would you like to come improve the scores of the Marvel movies? And my answer then was, I think 2 of the only really, really memorable themes that we've gotten in the MCU so far have been Captain America's theme from the first Avenger and the Avengers theme.
Yeah.
And both of those were composed by Alan Silvestri, so I said I wanted him to come back and do more Marvel movies, and then the day after that was released, this was announced, so I take full credit for it. But no, obviously I'm excited. I was just saying that I wanted this. Yeah,
I'm so excited for this. I mean, I still hope my 2 other composers go watch the MCU Q&A from last week. I hope they still get signed. Well, one of them signed on, but I hope the other one gets signed on for more.
Yeah,
because they both are really great. But this is amazing news. Is it for both movies that they say, or just for Infinity War?
I believe it is. I'm not sure, but I believe it's for both.
Yeah,
it would make sense if it's for both because even though they're getting new titles and they're not a part 1, part 2, they're 2 separate movies. But they really are kind of telling 2 halves of the same climactic end to the MCU as we know it.
Right.
So it would make sense for continuity's sake to have Alan Silvestri do both parts.
Yeah, that totally makes sense.
Just like you want John Williams doing all the Star Wars movies.
Yeah. Which, he just signed on for the next one.
I was going to say, yeah. It's a weird week for composing news because... I think John Williams just signed on to do 4 more movies.
Yeah.
Because I think he was announced to do Ready Player 1 and Indiana Jones 5 and Episode 8.
Yeah.
So more John Williams is always a great thing. And moving back to the MCU, more Alan Silvestri is a great thing.
Always a great thing.
How would you like to see John Williams do something for the MCU?
I mean, that'd be super awesome. I would probably want it to be for someone original, maybe Captain Marvel has Williams.
That'd be cool.
So just from the beginning, whoever's origin story has a set theme song, and
you'd want it to be a brand new character, not John Williams coming to a character that already kind of has their musical style.
I mean, more I think about it now, I really want Captain Marvel and Williams to be together now.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I don't know. Yeah. For me, I think that he'd be better doing a really, really big movie. Mm-hmm. But then again, Captain Marvel might be a really big movie.
Yeah, no, we don't know what's going to be happening in the universe by then.
Sure, yeah. Okay, well, anyway, let's move on.
All right, so Sebastian Stan discusses a potential appearance in Black Panther. You want to say what he said?
Yeah. I mean, this is not too exciting, or nothing to get excited about just yet.
He doesn't say he's in it for sure.
Right, yeah, he was asked if he might show up, and he basically said, well, considering where I am at the end of Civil War, it would make sense. Which, I mean, from his comments, it seemed to me he doesn't know if he's in it yet.
Oh, yeah, not at all.
But it would make sense, and we've talked about this a little bit before, how... at this point in the Marvel Universe, there's really no such thing as a pure standalone. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think the last Marvel movie without at least a cameo from another hero was, what? Iron Man? No, because Iron Man 3, Hulk was in the... or Bruce Banner was in the post-credits scene. It might have been the first Captain America movie.
Yeah.
It was a while ago.
It was a very long time. No, because Samuel Jackson was in it. At the end.
I'm saying without another Avenger.
Got it.
Guardians, I guess. But my point is that these movies don't exist in a vacuum. And so as much as Wakanda is this isolated country, and as much as it would make sense to just have Black Panther and no other hero show up, Black Panther already knows the Avengers.
Yeah.
He's already fought with or against them. And so he's already in this world. So it would make sense for him to, for Bucky to have a scene, or to one of the subplots be him trying to find a cure for Bucky's brainwashing.
Right.
Who knows what it could be, but it would make sense. So yeah.
Yeah. I'm super excited about it. But yeah, once again, he doesn't confirm that he's in it at all.
Right.
I'm pretty sure he doesn't even know what's happening in the Black Panther film. He's just common sense wise, I'd probably show up where I am left off.
Right. It's interesting about the Black Panther movie because there are so many great Black Panther stories, but I always assumed, and I think most people did, that Black Panther's first movie would be his origin story.
Yeah.
But of course, his origin story happened in Civil War, so it's not going to be an origin story, which is great. And that kind of leaves us at a whole list of stories that we could go for his first movie.
Yeah.
So that I'm really excited for Black Panther because we don't know what story it's going to tell.
Right, I totally agree. Especially with the casting that was confirmed.
Yeah, is that our next story?
Yes, that is our next story.
That's a great segue.
So I'm going to
segue
right into it. So Michael B. Jordan confirms his involvement in Black Panther, which also seemingly confirmed Lupita Nyong'o's involvement as well, because in his when he was talking about it, he says how he's excited to be in Black Panther and work with Coogler again. And to work with Lupita. Yeah. Which she has never come out and said that she was in it, so we've been kind of confirmed that she's in it.
Yeah. Super exciting. I mean,
this cast is killing it.
It is, yeah. I love this cast so far. And I can't wait to see what roles they're playing.
Yeah, I'm very interested.
Like I said just a minute ago, we don't really know what this story is yet. It could go so many different directions. Bucky could be a big part. I hope he's not. I hope it's really dialed in on Black Panther, but still. We don't know where it's going, but with this cast surrounding him, I'm so pumped for this movie.
Yeah, this movie's gonna be phenomenal. Especially, those two are almost Oscar-nominated. Michael B. Jordan he hasn't been nominated.
No.
He's always been
honestly,
in the running.
He was in he was in the conversation to be nominated for Fruitvale Station.
And Creed.
And again for Creed.
And then Lupita, who has won an Oscar. Wow.
No, I think that Michael B. Jordan, a lot of people were kind of concerned before Creed came out, because he's this young, really obviously talented actor who most people hadn't heard of, who was in Fruitvale Station. And then he was in a superhero movie. Unfortunately, that superhero movie was Fantastic, which I'll never call it anything else.
Fantastic Four, guys.
Yeah, they know what I'm talking about.
Well, I don't know.
And I know a lot of people were worried that this would kind of ruin Michael B. Jordan's chance to be a mainstream blockbuster star before he even had that chance to really start that career.
Right.
And then obviously he was in Creed, and that was mainstreamy enough to quell those rumors a little bit, or quell those concerns a little bit. But now that he's in a Marvel movie, I think we were just talking about last week with Brie Larson, getting in a Marvel movie, or getting in a big blockbuster this size, a Marvel movie, a Star Wars movie, whatever. I think that really elevates an actor from just a really, really talented actor to a household name,
absolutely
mainstream superstar.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure most of the people watching this video know exactly who Michael B. Jordan is.
Right.
But most of the people watching this video are fans of film, or at least fans of Marvel films.
Yeah, so...
and so they are kind of tuned into the world of movies, and so they would have heard of his name before. But, my mom probably doesn't know who Michael B. Jordan is.
Exactly.
And I think getting cast in a Marvel movie is... I think we're about to see Michael B. Jordan become a huge, Chris Pratt level superstar, where he just went from a talented actor in good projects to somebody that everybody knows.
I totally agree. And Lupita's already there. I mean, she's known by
Is she? I mean,
I think so.
Again,
she's been in she was in the Star Wars, and she is in a lot of women in film type things.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
And she won an Oscar, and a lot of people I know moms who heard about Lupita just because she graduated from Yale, and then one of her first projects out, she won an Oscar. Right. It's her story that kind of pushed her.
Yeah, that's true. But for people who don't care about Oscars, who don't pay attention to that, and yes, she was in Star Wars, yes, she was in Jungle Book, but her face wasn't in either of those
That is
movies.
very true.
I kind of want her to play a mocap character in Black Panther, just so we never see her face again. No, I don't hope that at all. She's a great actress, and I want to see as much of her as I possibly can.
Yeah, I guess with those two, I hope they're reoccurring characters, that they're not just gonna like die in Black Panther. That is my hope.
Yeah, I think the rumor was that Lupita would be playing love interest for T'Challa.
Yeah.
So that'd be cool, I guess. Yeah. Marvel.
She'd be an awesome love interest Marvel person to kind of like redo all of that. I
don't
feel
know.
like, since it kind of like shoved everyone else aside.
Marvel's love subplots have not been great. We've discussed many times on the show how we feel about Jane Foster.
Yes, we have.
Pepper's okay. Pepper and Tony are good together.
I just don't like her as a person.
Yeah, well, Gwyneth Paltrow. But regardless of that, like, Pepper Potts is a decent character.
Yeah, that's true.
And of course, Agent Carter's amazing.
Yeah.
But that's not a big part of the movies anymore, so.
Sharon Carter, so far, I really like her.
That's true. So, the fact that she's playing a love interest doesn't concern me, because she won't be just playing that female damsel in distress character.
Absolutely.
She'll be an awesome character and a love interest, not just a love interest.
Yeah, she's definitely like a strong person.
For sure.
You can tell that in the casting. So yeah, we can move on from
yes,
that now.
We can.
So Norman Reedus wants to play Ghost Rider. I don't really know Norman Reedus that much, because I haven't really watched anything that he's been in, especially Walking Dead. Seeing that comment, I was like, okay, that's fine. But I did see that he has voiced the Punisher before, which I thought was kind of cool, that he already kind of has a tie with Marvel.
Yeah, I mean, this is basically him saying that he would like to do it. There's no talks, or there might be talks, but there's no announcement or anything. This is nothing official. This is just an actor saying that he'd like to play it. Yeah. And yeah, I think he'd be a great Ghost Rider. Yeah. The first Nick Cage Ghost Rider movie is kind of a guilty pleasure of mine. I don't like the second one, but I like the first one.
Yeah.
Not because it's good, but because I like it. But I'd like to see a good take on Ghost Rider done well, maybe in the Netflix universe. Mm-hmm. And sure, Norman Reedus could play him. Yeah, I feel like with casting, they could do someone a little bit more outside the box with it. Like they have with all the Defenders, really. Yeah. I mean, Charlie Cox, none of the Defenders were my first choice to play those characters. I was about to go through all of them being like, Luke Cage? Right. But no, they're all like out of the box and awesome, so I feel like he's a little bit too inside the box. Yeah, he seems like the obvious choice. Yeah, so... I remember like a lot of people were thinking that, or hoping that like Terry Crews would be Luke Cage. And on paper, that sounds great. Terry Crews is a great actor. I love he's not a great actor. Terry Crews is a really fun actor. I just imagine on Brooklyn Nine-Nine in it. And on Brooklyn Nine-Nine, he's proven that he can handle some actual acting sometimes. Yeah. And he certainly has the physicality for it. And then when they cast Mike Colter, I'm like, I don't even know who this guy is. And then in Jessica Jones, by the first episode, I was like, oh yeah, that's Luke Cage. Yeah. So, anyway, awesome. What's next? So Kenneth Choi, is cast in Spider-Man Homecoming, which, if you don't know him, he was in Captain America, he was in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., or was it Agent Carter? One of the two. I know because Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., he played Jim Morita, one of the Howling Commandos, and I know Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. had the flashback with Peggy and some of the Howling Commandos, but then Agent Carter had that episode with the Howling Commandos, and I think he was in Agent Carter. He was in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Damn. I'm trying to see if anywhere else. Nope. Okay. He's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. then. Yes. Okay. Well, anyway, yeah, he's great, and he now has joined the growing list of actors who have played multiple roles in the MCU. Yeah. He's cast to play the principal of Peter Parker's high school, which, going back to what we're talking about, it's fun to see that they're casting these relationships that Peter has at school. Yeah, no, I'm really excited about that. Especially they all look so different, too. Yeah. But no, I'm really cool with that he's now being double casted in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, because I feel like with most of this casting, the first role that the actors do are a little bit smaller, and then they go to a bigger role, which I think he will be, as long as Peter's in high school, the principal will be in every single movie. Yeah.
But then also, I feel like it means that he went into the casting room and, like, really killed it, and the casting director was like, we have to have him. I know he was this person before, but he is the principal or whatever.
So it doesn't bother you at all that he's been in it before?
No, especially that's a completely different character from a different decade.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's kind of how I feel, too, when these characters double up. It's like, if you were so good in your audition, if you blew them away, that they wanted you back for a bigger role, that says something about your talent. And Kenneth Choi's a great actor.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it doesn't bother me at all. Although this does kind of crush my hopes for a Howling Commandos movie. Although the chances of that were pretty slow, pretty low in the beginning.
They were pretty small.
Yeah. All right, what's next?
So James Gunn and Scott Derrickson are to attend San Diego Comic-Con, which isn't that big of a surprise in my opinion.
Well, it kind of is though, because remember, Marvel skipped Comic-Con last year.
Yeah, but I know that was maybe because of contracts and they weren't gonna be able to announce things.
Well, no,
maybe.
It's basically that. Yeah, that they didn't really have anything to announce. Because remember the year before that, in 2014, they were at Comic-Con.
Yeah.
But they didn't really announce anything. I think they announced that Guardians 2 was greenlit.
Yeah.
But then they didn't really announce anything else. And then in October, a couple months later, they announced the entire Phase 3 lineup.
Yeah.
And that was because they wanted to, get Chadwick Boseman signed on to play Black Panther, get Robert Downey Jr. signed on so they knew they were doing Civil War, get all those contracts signed so they could announce Phase 3.
Yeah.
Last year, they didn't really have that much to announce because they had already announced their entire Phase 3 lineup.
But now they have, I think, so Doctor Strange is the next movie in November. So I think it would make sense that he's going to show off some footage and maybe the actors will show up and they'll announce who's cast as who, because we still don't know who Rachel McAdams is in the film.
Right.
So, I mean, same thing with James Gunn. Maybe they'll show a little bit of footage since he's just wrapping right before it.
Yeah.
I feel like that's smart.
Maybe get our very first few second teaser or something. Or maybe they get it at Comic-Con, but they don't even release it to the public. Mm-hmm. It definitely makes sense, but I know that there was speculation that now that Disney's doing Pixar and Star Wars and Marvel, that they might kind of back out of Comic-Con altogether and move everything to D23.
Yeah.
And so the fact that Marvel is now back at Comic-Con suggests that that's probably not the case. So that's cool.
Yeah, I'm jealous of everyone that's going to San Diego Comic-Con. But you know what? New York Comic-Con.
We'll be at New York Comic-Con, which last year I was there. We got to see the first episode of Jessica Jones. And yes, and that was exciting. So
but then we went to the premiere.
So that was that kind of yeah. Anyway, what's next?
So this is our last story.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, Josh Brolin has been talking about playing Thanos and about Infinity War. So he basically got to read the script or was told the story, and he said how amazing it was, which makes me so excited. And he also talked about how, in all of his interviews, about if he's on a press tour for any movie, for Hail Caesar, Thanos always comes up. It's always the bookend question being also playing Thanos. He's been on screen for less than 5 minutes, but in every single press tour, they're always Marvel, Thanos, and he talks about how awesome that is.
It's this huge character that we don't know anything about, and I'm a little worried about him playing Thanos because as great of an actor as I think Josh Brolin is, Thanos is this character that's been built up over 3 phases of Marvel movies. I think it's going to be really hard for him to do anything with the character that isn't disappointing, considering what we're expecting at this point.
Right.
That being said, what he did in Guardians was fun, and I think as long as he's written well in Infinity War and he is intimidating, he'll be a great character. But yeah, I'm really excited.
Yeah. I was excited that he was excited, so that's basically the story.
We're all excited. Okay.
But that was our last news story, so that's it for today, everybody.
All right.
Thanks for watching. Make sure to go to MCUExchange.com to keep up to date on everything related to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I'm Addie Hayes. You can follow me at Instagram and Twitter at AddieBree.
And I'm Doug Herring. Make sure you're following us at the MCU Exchange on Twitter or just MCU Exchange on Facebook. And like Addie said, go to MCUExchange.com for everything you want related to the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
And make sure to subscribe below.
So that's our show, guys. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time.